this is Jen. Thanks for joining me today. I want to run through a little bit of spinal mobilization for back pain. So we're going to be doing some gentle stretching and easy movements, just kind of breathing and stretching. I feel like that's something that we all need. Since I'm starting here in this seated position with the legs crossed, you can have your legs further out if it hurts to have them crossed and pulled in like this. But I'm going to start here in an easy pose with my hands on my knees and just start with some breathing. So I'm going to arch back, tucking the tailbone and sort of moving the pelvis forward while the chin tucks into the chest. And then as an exhale, just come forward. So now I'm sort of arching the back, the tailbone's sticking out towards the back wall and the chest is lifted. So you're basically doing what would be a cat-cow, but we're doing it in a seated position. So just kind of rolling through, arching the spine and bowing the spine. Go nice and slow. I'm just going to do one more. It's all about moving slowly when you have a lot of pain. So that already feels a little bit better. So now we're going to lay down from here. So we're moving into a supine position with both knees bent and feet on the floor. However, I'm going to bring the right knee into the chest. Just kind of hug it there. And by keeping the opposite leg bent, we're able to really focus on flattening out that lumbar spine. So the lower back here, instead of it arching off the floor, which it tends to do with the opposite leg straight, we're bending this knee, so it's a lot safer. So we're stretching out some of the glutes, a little bit of the hamstrings. And then from there, taking that ankle and just opening up the hip. Place the ankle on the opposite knee and reach behind the knee, pulling that leg in towards the chest. Now, if you are really tight here in these external rotators, you're going to be more like this. So I want you to just kind of gently try to open the hip and think about sticking the right hip bone towards the wall away from you, the bottom of your mat. So that's going to give you a little bit more of resistance there to actually really stretch that muscle tissue. Nice, let's try the other side. So gently come down from there. And we'll pull the left knee into the chest, leaving the right knee bent. A lot of folks asking for how to stretch properly. Taking that ankle, placing it on the opposite knee and pulling that knee into the chest. And again, take a moment to just sort of press that knee gently away and take your left sits bone and push it down towards the bottom of your mat. That feels great. Now we're going to plant both feet down, knees are bent. See if you can reach down and touch your heels, and if so, you're in a good position for, we're going to do a few bridge roll-ups. So we're going to have our shoulder blades pressing down into the mat, nice and firm. And you're going to start by rolling the tailbone up slowly. So you're going to press the lower back into the floor so you don't have a lumbar curve there, but your tailbone is lifted off of the floor. And then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, lifting up until you feel most of the weight right behind your shoulders. Lift up and then slowly reverse that. Lower down. Thoracic touches the mat. Now we're getting to lumbar. And as you press your sacrum and tailbone down, you want to take a second to really almost arch. So you're really pressing your tailbone into the mat and emphasizing that lumbar arch. Let's do that a few more times, slowly rolling, one vertebra at a time, lifting until those shoulders are bearing most of the weight. Squeeze the glutes, of course, and then slowly rolling back down through the thoracic, and the lumbar. Pressing that tailbone into the mat for a little counter arch. Nice job. One more, because it feels good. Moving slowly at your own pace. And bringing it back down. Ever so slowly. Don't forget your counter arch here. It's really important. So I'm going to roll onto my right side so that I can still see you guys. The bottom knee can be bent, but I want you to extend the top leg here and then just sort of lift it and then place it as far as you can behind you without overarching the low back. So wherever that might be for you. And then take your left arm, your top arm, and just reach it away from you, over your head, bicep by the ears. And take a nice deep breath. What you're gonna feel is a really great stretch through some of your psoas, your deeper hip flexors here. Breathe. Nice, and we'll do that on the other side. I'll actually move this way. So now the right leg is long, and we're gonna lift the right leg and just take it behind your body, and then lift your top right arm. Well, your only right arm, I hope. And breathe. Feels really good. We get really tight in our hip flexors. It's the cause of a lot of our back pain. Even though they're in the front of the body, they're massive muscles. And we sit a lot. All right, so let's move up and turn face down so that we're prone on our mat here. I want to take a little tiny baby back bend. So it's like a baby cobra in yoga if you're familiar. However, if you're not familiar, one thing that I want to do a little bit differently is I want you to really tighten your thighs, almost lifting your knees before you do any lifting of the upper body. And the reason that we're gonna do that is because if you don't, you have a tendency to really crunch these lumbar vertebrae, and you don't wanna do that. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do. So if we are face down, the back of the neck is gonna be long, our forearms are planted, and they are parallel. I'm gonna tighten my thighs. You can see my knees are lifted here, and my butt is squeezing. And then you're gonna ever so slowly just arch up to a point where it feels okay to you. If you feel crunching, you've gone too far for you. And I always find that actually mentally dragging my elbows back while dragging my sternum and chest forward is the best way to get a nice extension. And then release. Nice. Shake it from side to side. Bring those hands back and plant your knees. Push up so that you're in a box position, hands and knees. So first we're gonna just kind of wag our tail a little bit. If you'll take both your feet to the right side of your mat and look over your right shoulder, back at your feet. Get a nice deep breath there. Opens up the left side body. And then let's do the other side. So the feet come to the left, and we're just gonna look over our left shoulder. And then bring that back to center. Awesome. So from here, we're gonna do a little bit of bird dog. So it's some spinal activation here for our core and spinal balance. So we're gonna lift the right arm and extend the left leg. Now, all of us have different patterns of rotation in our hips or in our shoulders, the thoracic area. So you wanna kind of tune in here and see if your hip is really turning out, if you're having trouble balancing here. So you wanna pull the navel in up to the spine and really think about rolling that back leg. Roll it in and push through the heel. release. Let's try the other side because it's gonna be different. So left arm extends, right leg extends. And oh, see, I can feel my right hip is wanting to open. So just kind of turning that leg, flexing the foot, pulling my navel in. Helps to correct some of that. And bring that arm down. Finally, I want to work on just a little bit of a strength move. So we're going to go stay into this box position, but I want you to load your toes, curl them under, and we're going to hover the knees. Just going to hover and hold this box position. So we're working all of the core here. And release. Builds a little bit of heat really quickly. Let's do it twice more. Lift, hold, and release. One more time. Engage, lift, hold, and release. Awesome. Take those knees nice and wide. You can take your feet together and just sit back into a nice child's pose. Walk your hands over to the right side. Again, you're now opening up the left side of the body. And then walking the hands to the left to open up the right side. And bringing those hands back to center. Coming back up to hands and knees. Just curl the toes under, pressing the hips back to that inverted V or down dog. I'm not a yoga teacher, but I find yoga to be very useful. So I'm going to keep a slight bend in those knees as you walk your hands back towards the feet. And keeping those knees nice and soft still, just kind of hang. Nice forward fold, maybe shift from side to side, and gently roll up. Head comes up last, shoulders back. Nice, thank you so much, I hope that helps. If you're really tight from sitting at the desk all day, or we're all sitting at home on our computers all the time now, if you're driving a lot, that should be really helpful.